Hello, my name is Prime, and welcome back to ATS Showcases. And today we are here once again in the Nebraska DLC, and we're going to be hauling these massive tires from here in Sydney, Nebraska, and we're going to head up to Chadron today, pass by Alliance here through the middle. Once again, some smaller roads generally speaking, and we're once again on the western side of the state. Next episode, we'll head around the Grand Island and Columbus area, and then I've got a couple other cool deliveries that we're going to be, doing here in Nebraska. We're going to be focusing on Nebraska here for the next episode. Probably will be the last of it of the back-to-back series, and then we'll move around to some of the other wonderful areas of ATS, but I have to focus on, of course, Nebraska. And happy release to everyone here on the Nebraska DLC. So of course, as you can tell, there is no more early access badge on the top of your screen, so this is being recorded on the official release of the Nebraska DLC and the 1.50 update. So without further ado, let's get this Volvo started up and get on the road. So let's go ahead and roll out of here. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I certainly am, and yes, this may not be an early access build of the Nebraska DLC anymore. However, I still do not have any mods within this profile, just for transparency's sake. That way you guys can know about that. But so today everything you hear and see is still American Truck Simulator through and through, which of course is always a good thing because the game has definitely improved in many areas. And of course, this Volvo that we are driving today is a wonderful truck indeed, and that is a mighty tight fit through that bay there on the construction site where we're starting here. But it is wonderful to be back here in Nebraska once again. I've been putting out a lot of content for those who may not have been keeping an eye out on the channel recently. There's been plenty of content here on Nebraska in the early access phase, and once again, this is my very first video on the official release of the state. So hopefully everyone is enjoying playing Nebraska for themselves, and this delivery is also part of the Cruising Nebraska event, or Cruising Nebraska community event that is on World of Trucks for those who have their profile in ATS connected to, well, your World of Trucks account. It is a really cool event, and just like all new DLC releases around the SES software realm, there's always a cruising, whatever the DLC may be, event, and it's really neat here for Nebraska once again because you have to deliver and or haul goods to and from all 12 of the cities within the DLC, and you get a personal reward, and I believe it is a skin, if I'm correct, for a truck, and then I think there's a couple interior accessories for the community goal, or it may be the other way around. I can't quite recall, but I'm pretty sure that is the correct order. But that is really cool, and all the deliveries have to be at least 100 miles, which of course this delivery is, so I won't have to worry about that one. But it is really cool to have one of these, events here in Nebraska, and I know a lot of you have been enjoying that. Thank you to everyone who has been enjoying the early access DLC or the early access videos, or I should say probably enjoyed the early access videos now that they are done and dusted. It was really fun to be able to do that, and I mean, I said it in each of those videos, but I had to say hats off to SES Software. Big thank you for sending me that early access of the DLC. It is always a privilege to be able to do that, and I really enjoy playing the game anyway, so that is a pretty easy yes if you ask me. So let's go ahead and get on to some of the more major roads out of Sydney here. And yes, we're going to head north today. Last episode, we went south starting up in Valentine. So we're going to come down here, start from the south in Sydney and head up to the north. And yes, on the west side of the state, once again, I figured, you know what? Let's explore this for what it's worth. And there's also a pretty neat delivery over here hauling these massive tires today. Something that I actually realized just before I was about to record, because I prepped this video and this delivery a little bit before actually recording this. I had to step away and came back, and I realized in the meantime that I configured this Volvo and got this ownable Load King flatbed trailer. Wonderful. Went on the market and found this really cool delivery going up north here, and it had massive tires, and they happen to be the Volvo tires, or at least have Volvo rims on them. Kind of cool because we're driving a Volvo truck, so I thought, you know what, that works. To then me realizing as I'm getting stuff prepared that I think I did a truck and trailer combination, in fact cargo combination, very similar in Kansas. Not too long ago, did a quick look at my video archive, and yes, as of recording this video, a couple months ago, I did a delivery pretty near similar to this one. In fact, I think the only real difference was the truck, was actually the color. I think, if I remember correctly, that truck had the forest green color on it, if I do remember correctly. This is like I think it was something like blue smoke or something kind of cool name to it, and it honestly does look really good. That's really the biggest difference, other than the fact that that was in Kansas DLC. Today we are here in Nebraska, so I guess it's a big enough change in itself, but sometimes that will happen. I mean, I try to keep variety going, and it's generally variety off of recent content, and I will be the first to admit I really haven't driven a Peterbilt truck in a while here on the channel, something that probably should change. However, I think that kind of leads into a pretty fair discussion about, well, they haven't really been reworked at all. Not yet, at least, and I'm hoping, and as far as I know, there should be revamps coming to the Peterbilt trucks, given SES Software's very tight relationship with the PACCAR group, as we've seen with Kenworth. For those who don't know, PACCAR owns Peterbilt, Kenworth, and so on. I believe they own a couple European brands as well, if I am correct in that statement. So that is that. So I'm hoping that there's going to be some Peterbilt reworks, because it really needs it. That's why I've been focusing on some of the other newer trucks that have a higher quality finish and polish to them, shall we say. But with the release of the Nebraska DLC, of course, SES Software normally brings in other things now with their DLC releases, and something that was very quite neat, and I was not expecting at all, was a new sports paint job pack. Now, regrettably, I am not using that in today's video. In fact, in my infinite wisdom, because I got this delivery, full transparency, more or less set up, truck and trailer set up prior to the full release of the DLC. Just because of my schedule, I was not able to actually, well, get it prepared at the later point. I'm just recording it now when I have some time. But I like to work ahead and try and make sure things are prepared and organized as much as I can, so I got stuff prepped. Now, then I learned about this sports paint pack DLC release, and I was like, oh, I should just pick it up and then add it onto the truck. It will be perfect. And then in my infinite wisdom, I completely forgot to buy it before recording this video, which you're watching now. So keep an eye out in the upcoming episodes. I think you'll see that cool paint job pack. Some will like it, some may not. It depends if you're in the market for some customized paint jobs. I believe there's actually a fair number, I'm pretty sure, within the DLC, if I am not mistaken. And I'm also pretty sure it is included within a bundle related to Nebraska, I think, on Steam. Now, don't quote me on this. I very, very briefly took a look at the DLC itself and some of the packages that are available for Nebraska. Oh, and look at that. We've discovered Alliance. We're going by it. Well, I guess technically through it, just on the outskirts. And oh, there's the water tower over there. Well, I guess we're going through it enough for the game's liking, so I'll take it on my way to discover all of the Cornhusker State, which is a fantastic. I know you guys wouldn't have been able to see the Steam achievement, but I did get one, which I do appreciate. I've been able to, over the last few episodes with early access, halt and deliver to quite a few of the cities. In fact, now I have discovered one other city that I believe it was actually Norfolk, if I'm correct. I don't think I actually delivered or hauled anything to or from Norfolk, but I was trying to get a delivery out of there or check and see what was available in one of the early access stages. Teleported to it and discovered it, but that's fine. I didn't actually look around at all. I just had to kind of plop myself down on the ground somewhere there, just for the game to say, "Hey, you discovered it," so I could actually try and get a job. The pros and cons of doing content creation: at times, you gotta, especially when starting out with a brand new DLC, I can only quick travel to one of the cities, and then I've got to just try and work from there. And if there's not a great cargo option, I've got to try and, well, browse around, shall we say, and that's sometimes the way I have to do it. So I did discover that as well, that city as well. So there's only a couple now that I haven't technically discovered. Which of course I'm going to try and hit in the next episode. Honestly, next episode's plan is kind of getting back to a little bit more of the on demand, shall we say. What are your suggestions, and also just kind of in the moment, what do I feel like would be a really cool delivery to do? However, I am still going to be trying to implement kind of a plan that was also a couple people have recommended as well on the channel, and I won't give spoilers. Once again, I've talked about it briefly in the past episode, but I'm going to be kind of trying to do a bit of a hybrid plan of that, because a few people mentioned episodes that would be a very long episode indeed, and one that I could probably do in full transparency. Don't know how it would be commentated. I'm gonna have to make sure I have time to record it, but I think it would be a really cool episode, and one that would definitely be worth it. Do not get me wrong, I'd really enjoy doing it. I just gotta try and make sure it kind of fits into, unfortunately, a bit of a schedule for myself here. As much as I hate to say it, it's sometimes the way it goes, but that is to come, and that is going to be a really fun one. And as far as I know, that will be where we kind of, let's say, branch off a little bit, or at least just for an episode or so, from the Nebraska DLC, just because I have been putting out the content, obviously to no surprise with it, but for myself and for you, I think we just need a little bit of, well, let's go check the other areas of the California rework out. I did a few episodes there with the early access. Obviously took a little bit of a break, just a much needed break for myself doing other things. And I never really checked out, the Fresno area, some of the other regions of the California rework phase 3 that got reworked and look mighty fine if you ask me, but I just never ended up checking it out in the early access phase. I want to do that now, so we're going to do that as well, and just kind of have some fun checking out some of the other areas of California too, and to kind of work around here between Nebraska and some of the newer areas of ATS probably, and then, well, look into the future with Arkansas and Missouri on the near horizon. So it looks like we're pulling up to our delivery point here, and it looks, oh, it's already proceeded to the unloading area. Now, I don't know about you, for those who have been playing the game in 1.50 in particular, I have noticed that it gives that pop-up banner a lot earlier than it ever has before for me. Now, I don't know if that's just me or if that's everyone who has noticed that, but I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting that is the case. Now, we're going to just kind of line this up a little bit better here. Purposely go by the spot so I can keep it nice and straight. Now, I do have it set to default to skill parking, for those who wonder. And yes, that was the case in even the first look video when everything, well, kind of didn't go to plan with the unload. I did have everything set to skill parking, and in fact, I changed it briefly to select it to make sure that there wasn't a bug there. It still did the same thing, so doesn't matter. Skill parking is, I guess, how we're delivering to this point here. I'm surprised we didn't have to reverse somewhere else. This feels like a where do you need it situation, but hey-ho, we'll take it. An easy parking job is something I don't mind here and there. Once again, thank you to everyone who has been supporting the channel recently. It is absolutely fantastic to see that you guys have been enjoying the content that I'm putting out. And of course, I'm enjoying making it, so it's all around a great thing. Comment down below if you have any other suggestions for me, different content, different deliveries, different games even. Let me know what you think. I'm always open to feedback, and I'll maybe try to cater to some of that feedback as well if it, well, aligns with my vision as we go along. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.